Nothing is known about his origin or how he chooses his victims. Only any night you can wake up in your bed and find him face to face. Today, we talk about the Rake. It all started in 2003 when a series of events involving a strange humanoid creature took place in the northeast of the United States. They took place in rural New York and garnered media attention, but a mysterious news blackout soon set in and all records were erased. Thereafter, a group of collaborators began an investigation to collect all the remaining documents that spoke of this phenomenon. A couple of dozen, with dates that go back as far as the 12th century and span 4 continents. A death note found in 1964 reads, "Before I take my life, it is necessary that I avoid any pain or guilt that may be caused by this act. It's no one's fault but him. The first time I woke up and felt his presence. The second, I saw his silhouette. This time, I have heard his voice and seen his eyes. I can't sleep for fear of what might happen to me the next time I wake up. I can never wake up. Bye." In a personal diary written in Russian dated 1880, one can read, "I have felt the greatest of fears. I have experienced utter terror. I see his eyes every time I close mine. They're empty, dark. They looked at me and pierced me. His wet hand. I cannot sleep. His voice." But the most complete and chilling testimony is one of the most current. It comes from a father of a family who tells, "That same summer of 2003, I had just returned from a trip to Niagara Falls with my family. We were exhausted from traveling all day, so my wife and I put the kids to bed and went to sleep. It was around 4 in the morning. I woke up for no reason, and I took the opportunity to pull the sheet a little. But in doing so, I also accidentally woke up my wife. Suddenly she jumped and jerked her feet off the end of the bed. So abruptly, her knees nearly knocked me off. She hugged me and said nothing. I tried searching in the darkness of the room and could see what had caused that reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting with his back to us, was what appeared to be a naked man or a huge hairless dog of some strange breed. The position of his body was disturbing and unnatural, as if he had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, at the moment, I was not scared. Rather, I worried about him. I felt like he needed help. My wife was looking at the monster, cowering in fear, clutching her knees and looking back at me. In one quick movement, the creature crawled along the side of the bed until he was less than 2 feet from my wife's face. He was completely silent for 30 seconds, just looking at her. Suddenly, he dropped to her knee and bolted down the hall in the direction of the children's rooms. I ran up to turn on the light and try to stop him before he hurt my children. When I went out in the hallway, the light in the room was enough to see him crouched and hunched over, about 20 feet in front of me. He turned around and looked at me, covered in blood. I turned on the light and saw my daughter lying next to him. The monster ran down the stairs and my wife and I ran to help her. She was badly hurt, and before falling unconscious, she whispered, "He's the Rake." Driving to the hospital with my wife holding our dying daughter in her arms, I was so desperate that we accidentally drove our car into a lake. Neither of them survived. As I live in a small town, the news was highly publicized, but despite several newspapers paying attention to me, the story was never published. I decided to look for answers myself, and soon I was able to find other cases of people in the same area who had also seen the Rake. We partnered up and started an investigation, thanks to which we were able to collect other hunting records. Although none gave details about his origin or nature, we could see that he used to visit his victims several times. He even spoke to some of them. This froze me, thinking that perhaps the Rake kept visiting me at night. To be sure, I put a tape recorder near my bed and left it recording all night, day after day. The next morning, as soon as I woke up, I would listen carefully to the recordings. After 2 weeks, I had already gotten used to identifying the usual noises of the night while reviewing the audio at high speed. But one day, I suddenly heard something different, a shrill voice that left me paralyzed. It was definitely the Rake. I was not able to listen to it long enough to transcribe what he said, nor have I let anyone else listen to it. All I know is that he looks familiar to me, and it must be because he spoke to me that day when he was in front of my wife. I don't remember hearing him, but that sound in the recording immediately takes me back to that night. Just to think of what my daughter went through standing in front of him. I haven't seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know he's been in my room while I was sleeping, And I know that one night I will wake up and find him in front of me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!